Hey everybody, welcome back to the Old Swedes Farm. It's Rich. Before I get into the content, I keep forgetting, but if you like the video, give me the thumbs up. That helps the channel, and if you're not a subscriber, we'd love to have you. So I am out here freezing my tush off. It's about 0 with a breeze, but I thought I gotta get some planting in here. Summer is gonna come, rumor has it. So warmer weather might appear. Got my clipboard out again, got the pen, got the tape measure out. God, it's cold. Hopefully you can see behind me, and amongst that snow, there's a couple little pine trees in here. Otherwise, kind of an unused space. I did cut down a dead tree and got that stacked up, but I've got a 35 by 20 foot area, kind of a rectangle here, right on the edge of my property. You can see the road out there, but right on the edge of the property, just an open area, and I wanted to do something different. You know, we're always talking about vegetables and chickens and this and that. I'm gonna put out a native garden out here, and a little teaser. I got something coming up with Janie over at Dig Plant Water Repeat. If you haven't checked out her channel, do it. That kid's got an eye for stuff, but check out Janie's channel. More to that to come, but we got a little something that we got going. So teaser, but I'm gonna put in some native plants. Couple of reasons. One, way down the road, I'd like to maybe get some bees, and we're lacking in flowers and such here. And the other is just, I want to get some butterflies and some other insects here, and those native plants just work wonders here. So, got an area here. If you've worked with native plants, especially if you're from Minnesota, there's my area. A lot going on here, a lot of area, a lot of potential. And I'll take you in and show you a couple ideas. But if you've got some ideas with native plants, I'd love to hear them. But let's go inside. I'm dying out here. Let's go inside and I'll show you a couple of things that I'm thinking of. Hey everybody, we're back. I'm inside. I was frozen out there. I love Minnesota in the 4 seasons, but there are some days it's probably 0 with a 15-mile-an-hour wind out there, and trying to hold the camera and take some measurements. I was dying. Anyways, I got my drawing and just did some quick figuring, which was pretty easy, but 35 feet by 20 feet. Typically you, when you're doing a native planting, you're putting 1 plant per square foot. That's 700 plants, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to handle that this year. I'm looking at, can I do this as a 3-year plan, kind of piece it together, both from buying the plants, the cost of buying plants or seeds, and then getting it in. 700 plants, it's a lot of time. I've done this before, back in my old place. I don't know if you remember the video, the naming of the farm, and my dad, the picture we were talking, I had that native planting out behind my house. It was probably 150 feet by 20 or 30 feet. It was quite involved. It took me 5 years to get it in there. The one thing I really like about native plantings is they kind of evolve. They move. Plants fall down and the seed heads drop, or they blow, and so it's a constantly moving piece, just like a prairie in a light breeze. Things move, and it's gorgeous. I love native plantings. Now I've got a favorite nursery here in Minnesota, Landscape Alternatives, up north of me, probably now 2 hours now north of me here. And then I got a catalog from Prairie Moon Garden, or Prairie Moon Nursery over in Winona. So a couple of new resources, but this gets my heart up. You know, you can talk tomatoes and cucumbers and potatoes and stuff all you want. Looking at this stuff really gets my heart up. This is fun for me, but there's different things for different times of the year, and I'm looking forward to, you know, some blazing star, some butterfly weed, cone flowers, all this columbine. There's spring flowers, there's summer flowers, there's fall flowers, and there's different stages that it goes through. There's bright colors in the spring, Then you get this June purple phase, all these purple flowers that are coming out, and you kind of know summer's done when you start seeing all the yellows and oranges. It's kind of the end of the summer, state fair time, but it's like, oh, we're getting into that yellow phase. Summer's almost done. But in between, there's so much going on, and I am looking forward to going through this catalog and finding a bunch of plants and native grasses and doing that. If you get any catalogs like this, or you've got a source, look through it. I'm gonna throw it out. Some of you have a good sized piece of property, and maybe there's a little niche that you've got that you don't use. It's just kind of an area that's scrubby, you know. Maybe you could just till it under. It might be a 20 by 20 area, but look at some plants that are native to you. And I stress native to you. There will be native plants or prairie plant mixes that you can buy at the store. And I've seen them here in Minnesota. They're not coming up next year because they're native to Texas. The plants that are in some of those things are not native to my area. So I'm assuming these are being sold around. Look at what's native to your area, whether it's Texas, Virginia, Missouri, Minnesota, wherever you are. You're in different zones and there's different native plants. But I'd encourage you to put out a little native planting outside in a little area. You're going to attract butterflies, insects. During the winter, these plants will go to seed and birds will be using them to feed on. And it's so different than having marigolds and geraniums and some of the usual plants that we see around. Native plantings are so important, and I'd love to challenge you a little bit to think of an area where maybe you could just make a small native planting. And think about, look for some native seed plantings, look for a native nursery or a place that sells native plants in your area. One of my favorite books, I've got Native Plants of Minnesota, and there must have been 200 sticky notes in there with notes, and I know I borrowed it to someone. If I borrowed you my Native Plants of Minnesota book, can you return it? I don't know who I borrowed it to, darn it, and that was such a good resource. So if I borrowed it to you, bring it back. Anyways, a little something about natives and just starting out, that area is going to be perfect. It faces west, gets a ton of sunshine late afternoon or midday on, and I'm just picturing all the butterflies and insects flitting around there, enjoying that native planting. So it's going to be perfect, and I will take you along for the ride when we go out to the nursery or when we're planting. All the way through the first year, and some of these are going to take till next year before they even bloom, so this is something that's in a little process. So anyways, I'm getting a little long-winded here, but getting fired up talking about my native garden here. So hope you'll take the challenge, try something new. If you've got comments or questions, throw them down below. I do have a lot of experience with native plants, especially up here, but also if you've got some resources that maybe I'm not thinking of, I'd love to hear those so I can expand my knowledge of native planting. So getting fired up here. It's darn cold outside, but I'm getting fired up in here, getting ready for a good spring planting. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate all the viewing and the comments and everything. Take care.